doing, sir?
Hello.
Doing
Good. Can we talk to you about IVF?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
I'll give you a card here real quick.
Okay.
So we're out here just spreading the word about what IVF entails. It's a brutal practice where many children are murdered in order to get the one child that the parents are seeking. And so we want to spread the word and in love. We're Christians. We're from a local church, by the Word Baptist Church, and I'm not sure what other churches are represented out here.
Oh, I go to New Vita. I go to church in Dallas.
But we're just here in love of neighbor, spreading the word that babies are in fact murdered here. We're curious. What are you here for your wife or?
Yeah, for my wife.
Okay.
We're doing IUI, which is pretty much the same as IVF, but it's a little different, I guess.
Okay.
But, I mean, we've been together for 10 years and we haven't considered a child, you know, and we consider ourselves Christians as well, you know. We're probably not 100% there, but and it hasn't happened, so we're just trying to get a little help.
If I could just kind of level with you, me and my wife can't have children either, so I kind of get what you're talking about. But and you say you're a Christian. The grievous thing about what happens here is that they're going to fertilize many eggs. And from the point of fertilization, it's a human being. It's a person created in the image of God, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to grade those embryos. They're going to say only the top 2 tiers make the cut to move on to the next level, and then the rest are discarded. If those are live in that petri dish, discarding them is murdering. And so those are your kids. That's the hard truth. Further on down the line, there's more bloodshed that does occur, but just as a basic kind of explanation, that's kind of what goes on here. If you believe that they're a human being from conception, if you believe that they're made in the image of God as a Christian, I would plead with you. You can't go through with this process with a clean conscience before God, because I understand the desire for kids. When my brother-in-law had his daughter, I became an uncle, and I was like, man, I wish I had children of my own. I think I'd be a good father, but you can't kill the many in order to get that one. And so that's our plea to you.
And also, you said you were doing IUI, and so I understand IUI is different. It's not necessarily fertilizing the egg in the petri dish. However, do you have the chance of having multiples? I have a friend. My husband and I have some friends who they did the IUI, and they were stimulating his wife's egg production.
Right.
And they were supposed to be checking to make sure, like for if she was pregnant, and they just couldn't see it, and they missed, and they kept stimulating, and she kept, I guess she kept getting pregnant. So they ended up with 5 babies, and praise God, they had them and they were safe. But imagine if they would have become pregnant with like 9 or 10, they would have. And these are Christian folks, you know, they don't believe in abortion, but like you would be faced with the, you know, choice to terminate. You know, they would say,
point you would just be blessed with that.
They would say, yeah, but at some point you get too many that it's not safe for the woman's health, and I think it's not worth the risk to put yourself in a position where you would be faced with the doctor saying, well, we need to kill some of these for the safety of your other children. So I encourage you to really consider that. And I don't know if you're familiar with the process of what they do with selective reduction. They will terminate the baby in the womb. They will kill the baby. They'll inject it with something and kill it, and they leave it in for the rest of the pregnancy alongside the other babies. and then they're all born, and then they're born with the babies, but they're born dead, and it's a very, very sad, horrendous thing that they do. So I would encourage you to really consider the risks of it, and the moral implications, and what God would have you do.
Correct. No, I think we are pretty good aware of, you know, everything, all the chances that we are taking and stuff. But
here's the thing, though: you're going to answer before God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, how as a Christian can you be good with those risks, those decisions you're making in light of what we told you? Because God,
you know, if that was the case, you know, I wouldn't kill 2 children or to have only 4 or something like that.
Right, when you put it in those terms, nobody would do that, but what they're doing in there is obscured because they put medical terminology to it, and it's a sanitized, they give you a sanitized view, but what we're saying is biblically.
But you don't think God put everything, like, to take advantage of all this? Like,
Ma'am, can I talk to you about IVF?
all this technology, like we call it.
Well,
You know, just like, you know, he also says, let's say, like the leaders and government, you know, he says that God puts them there, you know, so, and you see it, and you're like, man, how can God put those leaders in charge, you know, like, because they're horrible, you know?
God is sovereign.
But, you know, at one point you're like, that's what it says in the Bible, you know what I'm saying? And it also says, yeah, there's going to be some leaders that, you know, they're not there in God's willing, pretty much. But
So God decrees whatever comes to pass, but he also gives us his law. He said, you shall not murder, right?
mm-hmm.
So those are two different things. That the decree of God and his will is he does raise up evil leaders to punish a wicked nation such as ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But he's given us his law that says you shall not do this. And what I'm saying is we'll be held accountable for breaking that law. It's not, those are two different things.
Why do you think God hasn't opened your wife's womb for you to get
No, that's a great
conceived?
question. That's a great question. He's sovereign in all things. Surely it is in his will that we not have children, at least up until this point. And
What do you think is that?
well, oftentimes God gives a hard providence in order to grow us in holiness, to make us more dependent upon him.
So, but you think you'll have a kid?
Probably not at this point. My wife has a lot of health issues where I imagine it would probably kill her if she got pregnant. But we've been
Why
open.
do you think is that? Why do you think God puts her through all that?
Because he's good. That seems like an odd thing to say, but we are wretched sinners, and we are prone to look everywhere else but him. We buy big fancy TVs and fancy cars and all this stuff and commit idolatry, but he wants to draw our attention to him and make us reliant upon him. And so in those things, in those hard providences that we walk through, we're either going to abandon him altogether, or by his Spirit, by his grace, we're going to realize I've got nothing apart from you, God. And so that's what the hard providences of God are meant to do, is to lead you to him. But what we're doing here is, in this institution, they're seeking to sidestep God's providence, and do so in an immoral way, where children are dying. And it's breaking God's law, going against his will, his decree. And so we're trying.
So you don't think whenever you have, whenever you and your wife are having sex, and then whenever you Bashir to, you know, ejaculate or stuff like that, you know, like what happened with those kids that you're saying, you know, like,
Well,
you just, like, you know,
so
what's then?
couple things. It's not human being until the egg is fertilized, right? So sperm is not a human being and egg is not a human being.
Okay.
And secondly, if my wife should get pregnant and have a miscarriage or what have you, that's under the providence of God. That's under his divine prerogatives. He has the power of life and death. We don't have that. We're being commanded, you shall not murder. So we don't have the right to decide who lives and who dies, or even put others in jeopardy of dying.
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm killing or I'm murdered. You know, like I don't look at it that way. I don't know.
Well, I understand it would be really tempting to not look at it that way, right? But we've told you the facts about what's going on here. Now we just plead with you to think about it. I don't know where you're at in the process.
All right.
But I would plead with you, if there's time to turn it around, do so if like immediately, because there's truly children that are dying in this process, and you're going.
How can you call it children?
The children, because from the moment of conception, the sperm and the egg come together.
But
you wouldn't even come here if they weren't children.
In our point, we haven't even. That's why she's not pregnant, because it doesn't even get to the point where it goes into the egg, you know. So
I guess I
but
don't
that's what they make, right? The eggs, they try to make a lot of eggs, and they weed out the ones that.
So we're not doing that.
Well, yeah, what he's doing is IUI, so they're not doing where they put them together in a petri dish, so they're not. So they're literally being fertilized inside your wife, right? Because they're just, are they? They're inserting the sperm.
You know, my sperm gets pretty much. I don't know what they do with my sperm. You know, they prep it. That's what they say. You know, I don't know exactly what's the procedure. And then, yeah, my wife is.
This is intrauterine insemination, so they do it inside the uterus.
Okay.
Correct. She just gets insert. Gets insert her, but so that's you know that's
right.
You know it's not like shit. You know, that's why I say they're not children. You know, because that's why she's not pregnant. She doesn't even go to the.
Right.
It doesn't get to the egg.
So they're not
Right.
making the embryos.
That's she's correct. They're not making the
just
embryos.
separate inside of her or something.
Yeah.
But they're not freezing them out and
No.
saving them for you or something, because that's what they usually do. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's what like the devil will take a good thing. It's good to want a kid, but then it's not good to get rid of or freeze a bunch of them or set them up for
Right.
experiments.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Are you guys serious?
Yeah.
Guess what? We want babies more
Yeah.
than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You think
I
we would
understand.
do something to hurt a baby? We want them more than anyone.
We're just talking to
Okay.
people
Yeah,
about
that's-
the
I
process
don't
of
give a shit what
IVF.
you have to say.
Can I?
We want babies more than anybody.
Just out of
Okay.
curiosity,
Can I talk to you about what it is? Can I talk to you about what IVF does? Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They
We
weed
love-
out
what
the
are you
ones
men
that
doing here?
Okay.
they
You
weed
guys
out the
have
ones
no
that they
place to
don't
be
want,
here.
like they
What are the men
they
doing
grade the
here? What are you
embryos
doing?
and then they kill the babies they don't want.
Unreal.
Yeah.
If-
That's what they
Right. If
do.
you're doing
It's on their
IVF,
website.
they grade the babies and they discard the babies who have
What,
genetic.
They don't have to do it.
Babies,
even send
babies
them for-
are human. Babies are human babies from conception. You began at conception. That's where you
You were an
started. That's where you
embryo too,
began.
yeah.
You were an embryo once.
Do they give you
They're all
like
mad.
pornographic?
They don't even listen.
No.
They don't care. They don't care what God says. They just make it up. That's all.
Like they give me the choice to bring the sample.
Ma'am,
from
can we
home.
talk to you about
I
IVF?
only leave like 15 minutes.
We have some information for you. I didn't give the other people a card. Should've
Or
given
do
them a
it
card.
here, but I always do it at home. So, you know, and that's again, you know, I don't know exactly what's the procedure with IVF and stuff. I guess the science of it, but I don't feel like I'm, you know, killing children, because
Here,
You know,
If they're-
take one of these.
If they're freezing your embryos,
Oh, and then-
then they probably are then.
Yeah, but he's
they're
not.
not. We're
Yeah.
doing a little different.
But like I said with the IUI,
I
you
know
are at risk
the
for having
chances, yeah,
multiples, and they'll encourage you to reduce
The
to have a
chances of all
smaller
that,
amount
yeah, I mean, you
because they'll
know.
tell you it's safer for the other babies if you terminate some of them.
You know, once again, I think it's just a matter of I give you more chances, I guess. But we haven't even got. We've done this so many times, and we haven't,
Right.
you know, considered of doing the IVF. But I mean, we've done it like 5 times already. So I don't know. I don't. You know, if I was blessed with 9 kids, I'll take all the 9 kids. You know, it's not like you know, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, well, I'm only choose 2 because that's all. You know.
Oh yeah, because
But that's standard practice. That's standard practice in the procedure is to reduce the number of children and to have abortions with them. That's standard practice, and that's what they'll. Well,
There have some they've implanted in people, and then they like weed out the ones they even do an actual abortion and so I can get rid of the other ones. But
Yeah.
some people, like you said, if they don't want to, they keep them all in. Oh, that's a lot of kids.
All right.
just encourage you to think about that.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a great day.
Yeah. Happy Easter. Yeah. Thanks for talking.